Hello, Journey family and friends. Pastor John and Pastor Dustin Agard with you in this week's Midweek Conversations. Thanks for joining us. Obviously, we're joined by a special guest. Welcome, Darren Key.
Thank you for having me, both of you.
Good to have you.
Yeah,
Darren Key, all around good dude.
So let's give a little background who Darren Key is. First of all, Darren is a Journey Church member. When did you become part of Journey Church?
1997.
1997. Wow, that's when I moved to Ohio from Kentucky. That goes back a few years.
Yeah.
Very good. So Darren is married to Rachel.
Yes.
And you have 4 children. Tell us a little bit about them.
So adopted our oldest son, Alex, from Russia, our oldest daughter, Scarlett, from Kyrgyzstan, and then we have twin biological girls. And so 16, 14, 10, 10. So
your twin daughters and I share the same birthday.
That's right.
So when you're seeing this, November 3rd, we're all celebrating our birthdays.
That's right.
Happy birthday, Pastor John.
Thank you, thank you. So Darren, you have been you've been on staff at CFR for how many years?
This is 25th year.
25th year, and you've been CEO how long?
20 years.
20 years. So explain, however you would like, the wonderful ministry of Christian Financial Resources, or as we call it, CFR.
Yeah, so what's kind of neat is CFR, the ministry was started here at Journey when it was Lakeview Christian Church back in 1980. And we've been a major part of funding projects here at Journey, whether it be building projects or new campuses or all kinds of different things. And Journey is one of our top ministry partners in the entire country. We have over $11 million of investments from families in this church. So if you're one of our investors, I want to say thank you. Our ministry can't operate without people like you. If you're not one of our partners, we would love to have you join with us. There's 3 ways you can do that. The first is for everybody. We teach it as wise stewardship for every family, every business to have a 3 to 6 month emergency savings fund. Right. You can open up a CFR Ready Access Savings. You can earn 1%. You get to know you're funding hundreds of churches like Journey all across the country. So we can make those loans possible. Number 2 is just for some people. Some people have got more than that amount of savings, and so they want to get a little higher rate of return, so they put it in one of our certificates. Or maybe they even transfer an old retirement account that's just kind of sitting at a secular institution not doing much. And they get to fund ministry and change lives. And then the 3rd way is a new way at CFR, and it's really for a few people. It's for high capacity givers that give away $10,000 a year or more. And we offer what's called a giving fund. It's like a charity checking account where basically you can do all your giving to Journey and all the other ministries that you support. And there's some massive tax advantages by using a giving fund for your giving. So if you want to get more information about any of those ways, just go to our website, cfrministry.org, and then you can go ahead and read a little bit about us there.
So just so you know, CFR has been the partner that we've used in financing the Apopka building, adding on to the Apopka building when we did the Promise campaign a few years ago. It's almost 7 years ago now. Hard to believe that, isn't it, Darren? Darren was very involved in that. And then in the last couple of years when we purchased the building and renovated the building out at Lake County, again, CFR was our lending partner. That really helps make that possible. And that's what we talk about when we are funding ministry and changing lives. A lot of those lives right here in your home church, Darren.
That's right.
That's cool. Well, we got a couple other things we want to talk a little bit about that CFR. You've mentioned the giving fund, but there's also another way that I think applies to everybody, that they need to be prepared. And it's that conversation a lot of people don't like to have, but it's appointed unto man to die once. So 1 out of 1 are the statistics on death. Pretty impressive, 100%. So it's best to prepare for that by helping our families succeed through wills, estates, and you have a whole ministry that's called Legacy, your Legacy ministry. Explain that.
Yeah, so basically everybody at Journey can come on November 14th, and we're gonna do a Legacy seminar. There's no cost. no obligation at all to do anything. But what's neat is if you go to that seminar, then you can have a no-cost will or trust drafted and set up your family, because a lot of people we find have never done their legacy plan. They've never done their whole estate plan.
Exactly.
And what we also encourage people to do is to leave money to ministry causes. And so we'd love to see you leave money to Journey, love to see you leave money to other ministries you care about, but also to make sure you're leaving some money to your kids too. Yeah. And so, that's one of my things. If I could wave my magic wand, I would love to see every family have a well thought out legacy plan. And so that's kind of one of the services that our ministry offers. And it's really neat to see now that there's millions of dollars that are going to go to kingdom causes one day in the future.
So November 14th, here at the Apopka campus, at the time you see on the screen, we'll be having one of the representatives of CFR, Mike Kokolowski, will be with us. Again, Mike's another Journey person, and he'll be with us to lead our families through that. I can just say from personal experience, family experience, several years ago, my mother-in-law set up a revocable living trust through this same ministry. And what that did to diminish estate taxes and claims on her estate when she passed.
Skipped probate.
Blew our family away. And my in-laws think I'm the one that did it. I said, listen, I didn't do it. I just introduced Barb to the seminar. She's the one that followed through and actually did it. But it made a huge difference in her estate and what the family was able to keep.
Yes.
On the other side of that.
That's right. No, it's an amazing thing. So I strongly encourage you to come do that, and I think you're going to really enjoy it.
So Darren, one of the things for our family, we've actually had a will, and it really didn't have a lot to do with money. We started early on having a will just because if something were to happen to my wife and I, what happens to our kids? Especially, if you have kids under the age of 18, you got to tell them where they're going if you're not here. And I believe what you're doing helps with that as well. Can you speak into that?
That's exactly right, because the big misconception is that you only need this when you get old. People that are 60 years or older are the ones that say, I got to get this done now. Well, the reality is it doesn't matter your age, because you need to have a plan for guardianship of your kids. Because the bad news is if you don't set up a plan, the state has a plan for you, and most likely you're not going to like that plan. Yeah. And so, we want to think that out and be strategic about who's going to be the guardian of your kids. And make sure you think. And
I got to imagine too, it's not just for people that already have this set up. Maybe they already have it. They want to come to you and say, hey, where would you speak into this? Or how often do we need to revisit this?
That's right, because I can give you our example. We've switched our guardians at times, different phases in life that different people are. And so you need to periodically revisit everything you have done in the past. That's right.
That's good.
Have either one of you been asked to be guardians of someone else's children?
Yes, I have.
I have as well. I'm not volunteering, by the way, for either of you two here.
Yes.
But
I don't know if I have. My wife has.
That's one of those.
And I'm along for the ride.
So they want TJ, and you get thrown in.
That's what I'm feeling.
Is that it?
Yes.
But that is a little bit of not a weird predicament, but it's just one of those things you're like, wow, if this happens, then I'm stepping up here.
So really, there's an idea for Journey. I mean, two potential future dads right here for all the Journey people.
I will say this, you brought up a good point. The person on the receiving end should be aware that you're putting their name down.
I agree with that.
Some people don't, but you need to have that conversation ahead of time.
We had a lady in our church in Ohio, and she didn't have any children, but she had an estate. And she made the executor of the estate the preacher of First Christian Church, Canton, Ohio, whoever it was at that time. I didn't know that. So this had been done with a previous minister. So he's long gone. I come in, I get a phone call from an attorney one day, and they said, so it looks like you're the executor of Mrs. So-and-so's estate. I said, what are you talking about? I'd never done that before. And they said, whoever the preacher is at First Christian Church is the executive of her estate. I got a crash course real quick.
That's right.
On what to do. So it is helpful to give a heads up to everybody involved in a will and an estate.
I'll talk about one other thing while we're here is that, when people are working on their legacy plan, a lot of times they name certain charities. And one of the things that I'm trying to persuade people to think through a little bit more strategically is instead of naming several different charities, instead to name their giving fund. And that way, because sometimes the charities that you want to support change, and then you don't have to keep going back and amending your will and trust every time. If you name your family giving fund to do all that, you can change on your giving fund which charities that your future successors will be able to pick to give to. So I'll give you my example. On my plan that I have, so I have 4 kids. Each of the kids are getting 20% of my estate. The other 20% goes to the Key Family Giving Fund at CFR.
Right.
I have an approved list of charities, Journey being one of them, that then my kids are going to be able to go do the due diligence to make sure that charity is still acting like we want it to be, and then they're going to get to decide the dollar amount. So it's kind of neat too, because we're leaving a legacy of giving with our kids.
That's wonderful.
And so we like that. So it's just a really smooth way to do it.
So I'm going to circle back, and I want to break it down simple. So CFR, we talked about funding projects, ministry projects all around the nation. And what you've done, we didn't even talk about this, what they've done and what Darren has done and your team in the past 5 years has taken it to levels only God could do.
Right now it's at $1 billion.
We just passed $1 billion in loans, which is amazing. When I got here in '97, it was 11 million we funded in loans, and now we've passed $1 billion.
I remember not long after I got here, we were just celebrating, what, 100 million?
Yeah.
Something like that. I mean, 11 years ago, we were celebrating 100 million. Yeah. And here we are to
So to break it down, it's very simple. So one of the things for the savings, and you mentioned creating a savings account. So you have a savings account, and instead of it going to Bank of America or whatever, and them just profiting off of it, you bring it to CFR, and you're literally funding ministry, whether it's a gymnasium, a church plant, or an auditorium, or who knows what. You're able to. They are able to help fund that through your giving, and so. If some of this, I just know some of it's going to be a little bit more complex. I want to encourage you, if it is a little bit complex, just reach out. They'd love to talk to you, simplify it. It is absolutely incredible what they're doing and what they're continuing to do and how God's using
Well,
them.
we'd love to have, what's great about Journey, it's close to our office in Lake Mary. You know, some people were speaking in a church in Oregon, it's a little hard to come visit us. But if you want to come over in Lake Mary, we have a beautiful new office. We love showing it off right now.
Exactly.
And
just kind of remodeled it, didn't you?
We did, exactly.
Yeah.
And so it's fun to have guests.
That's awesome.
So.
Good deal. Well, Darren, I know this Sunday we're going to be starting a new series called Kingdomnomics. And we're going to be looking at economics through the lens of the kingdom of God. And that's something near and dear to your heart.
That's my calling in life.
In fact, you have written about that as well.
Yes, I have. I was hoping I'd be able to have that with you today, but supply chain issues, the books are coming. I've written a book called The Quest. It's going to be coming out right after the new year.
Wow.
And it's a 5-chapter book talking about our journey in life of how we handle money is like a quest. And so can't wait to share that in 2022 with Journey, maybe in a bigger way.
Yeah, we'll have to bring them back on as well for that.
Yeah,
in the new year.
I had the privilege of being able to read an advanced copy of that. It's very good. I'm excited for you to be able to get that. But just at the heart of who you are, Darren, not only as a CEO of CFR, but you're a steward. And that matters a lot to you. And that's what we're going to be talking about in the series coming up. We're going to be talking about 4 key concepts in Kingdomnomics. Number 1, own nothing, because God owns it all. Number 2, steward everything. Number 3, do something. And number 4, appreciate anything. And that's going to be the focus of what we're going to be talking about in the month of November, starting this Sunday with Kingdomnomics. And we would love to have you join us in person at Apopka, Lake County, or online at 9:30 and 11:15. Darren, thanks for being with us this week.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for you guys being an awesome partner.
And before we go, we're going to turn it over to a video. You want to set this video up? We got a video that we want to...
Yeah, sure. Watch this video. Just shares a little bit about like what a story looks like for a church that partners with CFR. So enjoy this next 75-second video.
All right, again, for more information on the ministry of CFR, just go right here. You can text on the what you see on the screen here to the CFR number and reach out. They'd love to help you. Hey, thanks again for joining us for this week's Midweek Conversation. As always, we are loving the journey.